Welcome in, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me today. Hope you guys are doing well and peace be upon you all. So, today we're going to take a look at Alphabet stock, also referred to as Google stock. So, Alphabet stock is skyrocketing today to all time highs after the antitrust ruling came out yesterday. So, if you're an Alphabet investor, today is an amazing day and we have a lot of good stuff to talk about. So, we're going to do three different things in today's show. So, number one, we're going to take a look at the antitrust case against Google and the news that came out yesterday after the ruling. Number two, we're going to take a look at the chart for Alphabet stock. Number three, we're going to take a look at some price targets that were adjusted after this news came out yesterday to see what analysts think about the stock. And I will also be sharing my opinion about the stock, whether it's a good buy or not. And I will be sharing my price target for the stock as well. So, amazing day today for Alphabet stock investors. And we have a lot of good stuff to talk about. Before we do that, I would like to mention that on my YouTube channel, I create content about money, sports, and personal topics with the goal of bringing value to other people's lives. So if you guys find value in this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel so that I can continue making these videos. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Alphabet stock. Following a multi-year lawsuit, a U.S. federal judge ruled yesterday on September 2nd, 2025, that Google must end its most anti-competitive practices, but stopped short of breaking up the company. U.S. District Judge Amit Mehta found that while Google had illegally maintained its monopoly in internet search, the recent rise of AI technology and new market dynamics meant a less aggressive remedy was more appropriate. So, this has been a multi year case that the Department of Justice had brought against Google, and we finally got a resolution to it. So, and as a result of that, Alphabet stock is skyrocketing today to all-time highs. So it's a very good day if you're an Alphabet investor. So just some background of the case. So the initial lawsuit came in 2020. The US Department of Justice and a coalition of states filed an antitrust against Google, accusing it of illegally dominating the internet search and search advertising markets. And then in 2024, monopoly findings. So Judge Mehta issued his initial ruling. He found that Google had, in fact, illegally maintained a monopoly in online search. And after that came the remedies trial in 2025. The remedies phase of the trial took place in the spring of 2025, where the DOJ and Google proposed their competing vision for the company's future. And now, in September, we basically had a resolution to this case, and we're going to take a look and see what the rulings are and what the remedies are for the case. So, in his September 2025 ruling on remedies, Judge Mehta issued the following directives to Google. So, exclusive deals are banned. Google is prohibited from entering into exclusive contracts with phone and browser makers that would stop them from preloading or promoting rival search engines and AI assistants. Payments are allowed with conditions, so Google can continue to pay partners such as Apple for default placement of its products, but the deals cannot be exclusive. Future agreements will also be limited to a maximum of 1 year. And this was a big deal for Alphabet, and that's why, or for Apple stock, and that's why Apple stock is up a lot today as well, because Apple and Alphabet have a deal that Apple will use Google Chrome as its default search engine, and in return, Google will pay Apple around $20 billion for that. So with this ruling, basically they can continue to do that, and that also sent Apple stock higher today as well. So a couple of other remedies: data sharing required. So Google must share certain search index and anonymized user interaction data with qualified competitors. However, the judge narrowed the scope of this request, denying the government's push for access to all of Google's search index and data about entities like people, places, and things. So this is a big deal for other AI search platforms like Perplexity and ChatGPT. They're going to get more access to Google's data, and they'll be more competitive with Google as far as search queries and just overall AI competitiveness. And also, an oversight committee was established. A 5-person antitrust technical committee will be created to ensure Google's compliance with the court's order for 6 years. So, some consequences for Google and its rivals. So, number one, Google avoids breakup. The court rejected the Department of Justice's most severe proposal, which was to force Google to sell off its Chrome browser and Android operating systems. And investors celebrated the news, causing Google's stock to jump. So, this was the most severe penalty, where there was the potential that Google had to sell off its Chrome browser and Android operating system, but that is not going to happen. So that's really the main news as a result of this verdict. Also, Apple is a big winner. Apple retrieves an estimated $20 billion annually from Google for default search placement, will continue to receive those payments, and its stock also rose following the ruling. I kind of mentioned this already, but AI rivals get a boost. Competitors like Microsoft, OpenAI, and Perplexity could benefit from access to Google's search data to improve their own AI and search products. However, the critics argue the remedies don't go far enough to restore true competition. And market impact debated. Some market analysts see the ruling as a major win for the status quo, with a bark bigger than the bite for regulators. Others believe the remedies will help renew, or it will help new entrants compete. So some mixed, feelings on this. Some people think that, this is great, that these companies will continue to do what they've been doing, but others think that the penalties are not big enough and that some of these other competitors will get squeezed out. So let's take a look at some other news articles on this. All right, so in this article, it mentions Google dodges Chrome sale and antitrust case ruling, shares soar. Google avoided a breakup after a US judge ruled against the government's most onerous proposals, including a forced sale of its Chrome browser. another court victory for big tech in the biggest antitrust case in 3 decades. The shares jumped. The ruling represents a setback for the US government in its bid to curb the power of the biggest US 10 companies, falling far short of the most severe remedies sought by antitrust enforcers. In a statement, Google praised the decision for recognizing how AI has changed the search industry, but said the company continues to disagree with Meta's earlier ruling that it monopolized online search. And the search giant also said it was worried about the data sharing requirements the judge imposed. Slap on the wrist. So this just mentioned that some analysts believe that this was just a slap on the wrist and that the penalties were not severe enough. And it mentions that under the ruling, the company will be required to share some of its search data with competitors like Microsoft, OpenAI, Perplexity. Alternative search engines. So these include that Apple will need to do a better job of promoting alternative search engines. Justice Department overreached. The judge, Amin Mehta, said in his ruling that the government overreached in seeking forced divestiture of these key assets, which Google did not use to effect any illegal restraints. All right, let's take a look at another news article. Alphabet stock hits record 226.43 amid strong investor confidence. This article says Alphabet stock soars as judge lets Google keep its search power grip. So court allows Google to keep paying Apple. Another win, another big win for Google was the court's decision to allow it to continue paying Apple to keep Google as the default search engine on iPhones and other Apple devices. This deal is worth billions of dollars in revenue for Google each year, and losing it could have opened the doors to rivals such as Microsoft Bing or new AI search engines. So we mentioned that already. We mentioned the judge forced Google to share search data with rivals. And the last news article we'll take a look at is this one, Google's antitrust ruling. So it just mentions Google escaped the worst case scenario in its antitrust case. All right, so all these news articles pretty much mention the same thing. So next, we'll take a look at the chart for Alphabet stock. All right, let's see what Alphabet stock is up to today. So right now, the stock is trading at $229.88. It's up over $18, and that's up over 8%. So Alphabet stock again is having an amazing day. This is one of the largest one-day increases that I've seen, following the stock. So let's take a look at the chart here. So that's the one-day chart that we're looking at right now. over the last 5 days, we can see that the stock was in the low 200s. And then we have the news come out about the antitrust case ruling, and it goes from around $208 all the way now up to almost $230. So very nice jump in the stock the other day. 1 month chart, the stock is up over 21%. So we can just see the consistent growth in the stock over the last month. So the stock was in the 180s, made its up way up to the 190s, 200s. It got up near the 210 range. And now we're experiencing this nice bump up to 229. So let me actually refresh this. I think the 1 month chart is not reflecting today's increase, but nonetheless, the stock is up significantly over 3 months, 38%. You can just see the nice growth that the stock has had over 3 months. I mean, it was in the 160s, just very nice, consistent growth. Some dips here and there, but very nice looking 3 month chart. Year to date, the stock is up 21%. So the stock kind of bottomed in April. So if you bought the stock in April in the 140s, 150s range, the stock has just continuously gone up since then, and it's up to the 230s right now. So very impressive chart year to date. Similar story over 1 year. It's up 45% over 3 years. The stock is up over 100%. So 3 years ago, the stock was in the 80s. Look at all this growth that the stock has had in 3 years. Very, very impressive looking chart and growth pattern over the last 3 years. 5 years, similar story. The stock is up 190%. 5 years ago, you could have bought the stock around $60, $70. And again, in this range, you could have bought it under 100. And then from there, just continuous growth in the stock. So very impressed there as well. And then the max chart. So Alphabet stock has been around for about 20 years. So back in the mid 2000s, the stock was just a couple of dollars, $3, $4, just consistent growth over the decades, consistent growth. And now we're all the way up to 230. So this is one of the best looking growth charts that I've seen. Alphabet stock has gone up over 8,000% over the last 20 years. So that's very impressive. One of the best stocks out there. And my expectation is that the stock will just continue to go up. So that's pretty much all the charts I wanted to take a look at. So just next, let's see if we can find some price targets for the stock. All right, so some major analysts reset Google's stock price target after DOJ antitrust win. So let's see what these new price targets are. All right, Google dodges breakup blow as Wedbush hikes target to $245. So they increased their price target from 225 to 245. And we saw the stock was at around 230. So they're still bullish on the stock. They think it's going to go up another $15. Gene Munster from Deepwater Asset Management. All right, so Oppenheimer raised their price target from $235 to 270. RBC raised their price target from 220 to 260. So we got some nice price target increases there. This article says clear win for Alphabet, say top analysts. Evercore calls ruling a best case scenario, and they have a $240 price target. JP Morgan analysts raised their price target on Alphabet to 260 from 232. Alphabet price target raised to 245 from 225 at Wedbush. And some of these might be repeats, but we'll still go through them. Alphabet price target raised to 252 from 217 at Bank of America. KeyBank raises Alphabet stock price target to 265 on favorable DOJ ruling. So they raised it from 230 to 265. Google's antitrust victory has Wall Street lifting Alphabet stock's price targets. So the sentiment on Alphabet stock is extremely bullish. So this just summarizes the most recent price targets for Alphabet stock. So we'll just kind of run through these. Oppenheimer 270, JP Morgan, Needham, RBC Capital Markets all have a price target of $260. KeyBank 265, Bank of America Securities 252, JMP Securities 250, Wedbush $245, Evercore ISI 240, Goldman Sachs 234, Rosenblatt Securities 224, DA Davidson 190. So we can see that almost all these analysts are bullish on the stock. They think that it's going to continue to go up even further from here. So that's very good news for Alphabet investors. So just next, I'm just gonna kind of summarize everything. I give my opinion about the stock, whether it's a good buy or not, and give my own price target. All right, guys. So let's just quickly summarize what we took a look at today. So yesterday, the ruling came out from the antitrust case that was going on for a few years on Google. And it was good news for Google and Alphabet investors. We took a look at news about that, where Google is not going to be required to sell off Chrome or its Android operating system, but they're going to have to make some other changes. And as a result of the good news, the stock was up significantly and it's hitting all-time highs. Number two, we took a look at the chart for Alphabet stock. We saw just how much the stock has gone up for all the different time frames, whether it's 1 day or 20-year chart. And number three, we took a look at price targets or most recent ones, where almost all the analysts increased their price target for the stock after this ruling came out yesterday. So analysts are still very bullish on the stock, and they think it's going to continue to go up even further from here. So just my opinion about Alphabet, the company, and Alphabet stock. Alphabet is one of the best tech companies in the world, if not the best. And Alphabet stock has been performing extremely well over the last 20 years. And I think this trend is just going to continue. I think Alphabet is just going to continue to grow and develop its AI platform. I think all of its other businesses are going to continue to grow, whether it's YouTube, search, its Waymo business. And also, I think they're just going to continue to even make more like hardware products, like their phones and watches and things like that. So I think Alphabet as a company is one of the best companies, if not the best company in the world. And its stock, as a result, is also one of the best, if not the best, stocks to own in the world. I'm very bullish on the company. I expect what has happened in the last 20 years with the stock, that it's going to continue to go up from here. So I think in the coming 12 months, we saw the stock is at 230 right now. So I think the stock is just going to keep going towards $300. So in 12 months, I can definitely see the stock being $275 to $300 per share. And even from there, in the coming years, the stock should just continue to go up. The two main headaches that were keeping the stock down were that one was fear that its search business was decreasing, but we saw a few months ago that that's not the case. And now with their AI mode and just their AI assistant Gemini, their search business is just going to continue to grow. The other cloud over their business was this court case where there was the potential that they had to sell off Google Chrome, but we just saw that that's not going to happen. So I think it's just green lights from here for Alphabet stock. I don't think it's too late to buy the stock. Yeah, I mean, if you could have bought it before, obviously it would have been better, but I think it's a great stock to own for the long haul, and I'm very bullish on the stock. So that's all I wanted to cover for today. If you guys found value in this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel so that I can continue making these videos. And I'll see you guys next time, and take care.